start here.
Let's begin now.
Guys on the video, you're gonna have to sit through this for a couple seconds, because I think what happens is the music gets lower and lower. I'm not sure if you can hear me. So I'm just kind of wasting time. Anyway, Lindsey Graham is fucking weird, and so is Mitch McConnell. What did he say today? Something along the lines of like a bunch of we don't want a bunch of CEOs. It wasn't today, over the weekend. I'm sorry. I know I haven't been here in a while. A bunch of corporations or corporate CEOs shouldn't be getting in the middle of politics, I think he said, or to stay out of politics. I mean, does he realize that anyone that knows anything about politics knows that his entire life and state of being is dictated by what the fuck goes on with regard to a corporate level? I mean, come on. Speaking of that, I'm a little weird about the hey, let's tax anyone rich thing, and I gotta find a way to articulate it to whatchamacallit, Liz Warren. And the problem is I don't know what I'm talking about, which sucks. So I have to figure out what the fuck went down in 2008 and where I don't care about how anyone got rich per se, except if they did it in a corrupt way. And I think there was, you see, the thing is, I think betting on both sides of the whatevers isn't that big of a deal or whatever. Mortimer and whatever Duke did it, but I just seem to remember, and it goes back to that dinner. Sorry, my cat Ocelot was lying across my desk a minute ago, and all these papers went all over the place. So I just, God forbid they're not like lined up perfectly. My fucking head will explode. Regardless, and I'm just kidding. They're not lined up perfectly. But I wish Ossie was here so I could somehow figure out a way to turn the camera and do it. But I am just way learning this. I just reached out to the people that own the camera platform to see about doing picture in a picture, and hopefully I'll be able to do that. I was hoping I'd be able to do it today, but then I realized the Animal Welfare and Animal Report and Wildlife Report are basically two documentaries, and then I threw some shit in there, that I hate. Like, for instance, a truck toppled over with a bunch of cows in it, and they were stuck there for like 6 hours dying with their necks broken and all that shit. There was that. Then I couldn't watch honestly, I blocked it out, and like I still don't know what it is, thank God, because it was a blur. But I'm pretty sure it was a fucking like a factory thing, like, a conveyor belt, but for animals, like being slaughtered in some way, maybe for a mink farm or something. Then I can't remember what else. And they're not just PETA ones or whatever. Oh, the fucking one of our international. As a matter of fact, we had a TV show of theirs, but now we just put their blurbs on, Rescue TV, and they've just been getting hardcore about like live animal transport and caging of animals, which I'm like way into, because I hate the caging of anything. It fucks me up. Like I hate when I hate it when people like at homes, in their homes, put animals in cages. I'm like, why even have an animal if you're going to put it in a cage while you go to work? Like, just don't get a fucking animal. If you can't let them run as free as humanly possible without endangering their lives, don't get an animal. It's stupid. Like, just don't. So I got to figure out a way to approach Liz Warren about how to break it down, because again, the taxing of the rich I'm just not into that. I don't think rich people should be taxed just because they're rich. Okay, now if they got there, again, it's been 10 years, 12 years, if they got there from '08, with regard to the financial bust, if they got there in corrupt ways and in part helped create that bust, and then in essence everybody lost their houses or whatever the fuck, if it was just the homeowners thing and whatever, I think part of my problem is that nobody, I'm not saying needed to do time, but they needed to account for, a certain amount of shit that they put America through. Granted, it's the Republican way to fucking dig and keep digging into a deeper hole, and then the Dems have to come in and fucking ad nauseum claw their way out of it and catch a ton of shit for trying to spend just to get the fuck out of it. And then the GOP comes back into the picture, and then they, in essence, dig us deeper back into the ground, further and further, even than we were before. And now the Dems have to pick it up. Thank God was only a 4-year cycle. It's weird. I'm pretty sure I used to say something along the lines of like, oh, it goes one way and then it cycles one way. Like as a joke growing up when I didn't know shit about politics. But when it does that, and when it takes like, a year for one thing to come full circle, it pretty much bites. And I get it. Things do come full circle. The one thing that this election taught me is that if you make a huge enough of an effort, you can basically make a wrong into a right. Wait, make a right into a wrong. Wait, make a wrong into a right. Yeah. Okay? And here's my problem. A lot of people just don't get it, and I do. I just don't know how to articulate myself. I just don't know how to articulate when it comes to like confrontations and stuff. Like for instance, last week someone asked me, "Where do I get my information?" And I'm kind of like, or how do I get my assumption or make my opinions? And I'm like, what do you mean? I listen to the shit and then I fucking make an opinion. And I didn't really know how to answer that except to say that in so many words without the profanity in it. And the person was kind of like, but that's, what if you're getting fed wrong information? And I'm kind of like, well, I have cognitive thought to make my own assumption. I'm not saying what I say is right or wrong. It's what I believe. And I brought up what happened in Wisconsin and whatever, and that person didn't believe that there was any fake news sent to people by Russian agents back in the 2016 election, and I had to disagree, but I didn't really want to get into it past like, there's been scientific proof because they don't believe in that. So it's like it comes full circle where nothing is believable. Like even the CIA, even the FBI, even, to be honest, Trump appointed people. Speaking of which, have we been fucking on the air with that Matt motherfucking Gaetz? Oh my God. It goes back to that thing I've said a million fucking times about that GOP. If they're saying it, man, if they're saying it's bad or someone else is doing it, they're doing it. All the time. How dare that motherfucker? How dare that motherfucker call out Hunter Biden, for doing blow when he does blow an X? What the fuck is wrong with people? I'm only thinking at the time he was just so brazen and arrogant amidst the Trump people that you could get away with corrupt things. And maybe that's why, because he's a nouveau type of a guy as far as like being in the House and being in the, being in Congress and stuff. But like, dude, don't be a dick. Like, go back to the whole thing where you hide what the fuck you do. Don't do that like hide in plain daylight shit, so to speak. I mean, he came up somebody's ass for whatever they're calling trafficking or whatever. I didn't realize the true meaning of trafficking. When I thought of like women trafficking, I'm like, well, why the fuck don't they just leave? You know, I picture them like, you know, on Hawaii 5-0 in the crates going across the fucking ocean, and then like 3 die, and then they come toppling out, and they're all in like, oh, you know, can't speak a word of English, and that's what I thought women trafficking were. I didn't realize it was like, hey, let's hook up. I'm going to take you to a fucking movie, and you're 16. So you just shouldn't date a fucking, like, here's the other thing. The guy's 29, I think. I don't know how old he is, but if he's 29, I know I was 29 and I was dating somebody that was a teen. Not a 17, she was 19. I dated more than one that were under 20. Well, 2. They were both in college, and I was 29 working at MC somewhere. What the fuck? One of them was like magical. It was one of the most. It was by far one of the. I think I talked about it here. That was one of the most magical moments of my life with regard to, you know, passion and with women. The other one, we just looked weird together, so I couldn't do it. Oh, we didn't even kiss. We just dated. We went on a date or two, sort of. You know, we went to shows or whatever. Well, we met at a show, and then we went to another show, and that was when I was wondering if maybe we could connect, because we talked on the phone a lot. But then, like, I remember one time I called her. It was actually after we went to the show. I'm pretty sure I called the dorm because somebody answered, like, from the hallway, you know, one of those phones, and I was like, oh. And I basically never called her back. If I even, like, lasted more than 4 seconds on that phone call. And then the other one was legit. We dated for like a while, like a good half a year. And then again, like a month later, again, like 3 months later for a certain span of time. Maybe not much, a month. But when we first connected, well, first off, I think I told the story. We used to pen pal. We used to write letters to each other and then talk on the phone. But like, I couldn't talk on the phone while I was at MCA, you know, all day with the girl or whatever. Wait, was I at MCA? Oh yeah, I was, because it was at the tail end, or I was somewhere, but I couldn't talk on the phone all day. It was after MCA, I think, because it was after my one of my first long-term relationships ever, where we lived together. And that ended in like 03, so this was like 03, 04. It was pretty much soon, maybe 04. So yeah, I guess I was still at MCA. And so I couldn't sit there and talk on the phone all day, so we would... Oh, and we didn't have computers then. I had a computer. But that's because I was dealing with the files. No, I didn't even have a computer. Wait, did we have a computer? We had something where we could type a letter. I had a typewriter. That's for sure. I definitely had a typewriter because... No, I can't remember how I made my files, the legal files. Like all the problem was you couldn't change the labels because they were coded. So if like the head of the division came up with this situation, AP and something else P, and the files would go separate. And that's how like the heads of the business affairs and the head of the company would figure out what they need. So if they needed correspondence, that would be in one file, and then their agreements would be in another, but they're still housed in the same section. So it's a little confusing, especially at first, But then you get used to it. But everybody had one of each other, and then you had to actually like file it that way. So there were 2 files per artist. And then what got worse is with the established artists, like, did I mention Elton John? I don't know. Ironically, that was one contract that was left unsigned. 13 years or something. I discovered it. Yep. I discovered that Elton John never signed his contract. And oh shit, the fucking these animals are stranded during the Suez Canal blockage. This is what I'm not into watching. Yeah, I'm not good enough. I mean, I want, as much as I want to like promote all this, it's just I'm not a real man, I think, or a real woman or whatever. That's like, yeah, what am I saying? Ingrid and those fucking women, they're like, they have that Marine mentality where it's like it's too late, but like not really. This isn't too late. This was last week. Stuck on that fucking Suez Canal thing. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, so when I discovered, I got to stop looking at it. Now the cows are trapped over, the truck tipped over. And the cows are stuck. The injured cows suffered in pain for over 10 hours, I thought, before they were finally shot in the head with a firearm. This is great. That's just a great fucking story. Gunshot, 10. Number 10, gunshot, 13. Look at these all. Transport truck crashes are frequent and often fatal. You guys need to watch this. I actually, and then the ones that survive just get loaded right the fuck back on the truck and then just get killed again and eaten by you weird people who eat pigs. You can hear them screaming for their fucking lives, you fucking assholes. God. They wouldn't be on the fucking truck if you tools didn't fucking eat milk. It's standard to let milk production, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. It's standard in that industry. See, this chick's cool. She's got a nose ring and everything. When the objectify bodies, we abuse their reproductive systems. I agree. 18 cows were killed by the police at the scene of the accident that day. Now, who the fuck gives them their right to do that, although finally their pain was over? So, Jesus Christ. Why did I do that to myself? I'm supposed to fucking narrate myself. I'm supposed to, like, talk about this like Joel McHale, I guess. Like, how am I supposed to do that? Please put on oh, great. 300 animals are suffering in cages in the European Union. I can't watch. Okay? What are sows? What are SOWs? Baby pigs? My God, this is disgusting. You guys got to see this. See, I should be able to have a square right here and do it. I'll be able to do that. And then I'll just get disgusted with you. I got to talk about anything else. Let's talk about something pleasant like Derek Chauvin trial. Have you guys had a chance to deal with that? Where the fuck is the defendants going to go with that one? Holy shit. Everything they try and do is just odd because I don't think there's any defense there. I can't see it. Come on, please. I hope the good documentary, the fun ones about like the wildlife that show the unique animals. I have 2 of them coming on. I just want them to come on so we can go, oh, here we go, more. Anyway, the former the former supervisor, I'm just trying to like keep, just trying to not, I can still see it out of the corner of my fucking eye. Anyway, he testified lastly, and that was wild. He was like, listen, I don't even want to be in the same room as the guy. You know, I wanted him gone like that minute, which I think he did. I think he got him fired like 3 hours later. There was something else like the defense lawyer tried to do that it backfired. You know, I mean, nothing that they say. There's just no real defending this because you don't kill a guy. I really want to know, which I heard, is that they work together at some point in their life. Now, I don't know what that means, but at least it brings like a reason for him to hate him, or to hate his ways and means, because granted, I guess, I mean, I can see how people don't like the lifestyle of like a crystal meth head or whatever, let alone as a cop. And it's a weird depiction. I think the woman may have said oxys. Oh, yeah, because she mentioned something about back pain and then they were hooked. So, yeah. Now they're showing all the abused animals that are in like TV shows and films. Yeah, that's great. And how they just get abused and batted around. I gotta stop watching this. It's unbelievable. Stop fucking watching this. Jesus Christ, chimpanzee after being abused. Oh! Man, these fucking people, this thing's on a chain. Animals are not actors. Okay, remember that, dude. If you see an animal being abused on a film or TV show, report it to PETA right away. I've done it a number of times, not more than a handful, but a few, not TV shows. Oh no, I did the petition for whatchamacallit. To tell the survivor fuckwads to stop killing chickens for the sake of that stupid game. We got some legs, but I thought they were going to stop it, and then they didn't, and then that fucking Asian dude, well, all he did was prolong the death because they left the chicken there. When they left the island, they couldn't bring it back, which I'm like, I don't understand why. So they left it on the island, and that thing was just... chickens can't last on those tropical islands. So it's just going to be made into, like, some type of prey. Oh, God. Now I'm watching a fucking goddamn dolphin at SeaWorld just sitting there like, duh, I have nowhere to go. Or here's a whale trying to get out. Trying to get out of these small concrete tanks like the size of the one in back of the White House over there. Oh my God. I mean, I can't take it. I just can't take it. Look at this. They die like 40 years ahead of what they're supposed to. And remember, SeaWorld, even though it's declining here or whatever, it's everyone in like Russia and Abu Dhabi or what is that fucking... I said it wrong last time. Is that the capital of the country, the city, the country that where they made itself, the city? They built it on its own. They made a city like in sand. It's just rich people. Oh man! Now you know what else I hate? What am I doing, man? Now I'm watching like wildlife, like eat other wildlife. Like this is like what I hate. Like, why is this better than a fucking human doing it? I gotta turn this off. I'm turning it off. I'm turning off my own fucking TV show. Just so you know. I can't do it. I'm fucking sorry, dude. I'd rather have the picture of Raya and the Last Dragon, whatever that is. I know what it is. We make shirts of it. Anyway. Oh, the other thing I did too, which is fucking weird, times 5, I've delegated. I mean big time, across the board. I am literally like walking the fuck away like I just built a house. A White House made of cards. I mean, my entire music division is now delegated. All I'm doing is giving them direction, sending them to the legal files, and saying, I better see some results whenever. Granted, it'll take some time. I hired marketing people. I hired marketing administration people. I hired, people being a person. And then I hired, a tech person to deal with my e-commerce shit. Ongoing. So it's really, really weird. And that's where I'm at right now. And before, I would have gone on the air here probably a good 50 minutes before hand, except I kept pressing send and receive. I kept going to like my email things. I kept checking everywhere, wondering like, all right, what are you going to need? Something, you know, and there was nothing. So it's been like a good 5 hours. And so what I'm going to do is hopefully finish this and then basically go for a ride and get outside for about an hour today. And I got to clear my head. I got a lot of shit. I mean, like, I basically, like, you should have seen what I went through yesterday at the Men's Warehouse with my mom. I made the stupid fucking calculation to, like, ask her to come with, you know, to help me. And we were going to do some, I also was going to go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and I was going to get her vibe on some bathroom shit. I don't know, I figured it was a way to whatever. Oh my God, it was like pure chaos. I basically had to leave and say, all right, you know what, I gotta go. I have an emergency. What happened was she didn't like my jacket, but I didn't know it. And so the whole time, like, so then I went to get a shirt, and she's like, well, it's hard for me to pick out a shirt when I don't like the jacket. And I was like, what do you mean? You know, and at first she would do the whole nonverbal shit, or the passive-aggressive shit, where she'd be like, what do you think of this one? You know, and show me another jacket that was just, I don't know, that one looked like a goddamn, whatchamacallit, tux. And then, you know, and then another time it happened. What about this one? And so then I'm like, all right, well, what, you know, I should probably get a tie too. And I didn't even want to get as far as shoes and belt, because I have to basically, I'm doing vegan of that, of them. You know, I'm always going to have a vegan belt and a vegan, what else did oh, shoes and sneakers. You know, that's easy. I can just get it sent to me within a day, 2 days. So I didn't even want to get that far, and I hate saying it in public. It just sounds, I don't know, I just have to come up with an excuse and whatever, but we didn't get that far. And just every turn, you know, like, I wanted to get a tie. I was like, well, I want to get a tie, you know, because I'm not going to get a Jerry tie. Number one, the jacket had little prints on it, so I wanted to get kind of I don't know what I wanted to get. So the same thing. Well, I can't pick out a tie because I don't really like the jacket. And this is her opinion this is her way of not giving me her opinion. And yeah, I don't know. I think by me asking her, it meant that she was just going to control whatever. And I was just like, no, I just wanted you to say, like, no or yay. What do you think? You know, I don't know. Or like if I get something that's not spring, you know, step in. Or to be honest, I was just trying to do anything, but it was just a debacle. So I couldn't even get a fucking jacket. And I mean, I get that they hate me or whatever, but like, I just would rather not be a part of it anymore. You know what I mean? I just am over it. You know, it just sucks because like everyone in my life are people that I trust to a certain point, and to a certain point where I can be myself for better or worse, and they allow that. And that's what I've built in the last, like, say 3 to whatever years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. And I just don't want any, I don't mean to be a dick. It's not a dick. I don't want any dead weight in my life holding me back. I mean, this and that, because if that's holding me back, well, I'm not progressing. And so then it comes down to, what do you do about your parents? Because, damn, you know, most of the reason I have the place in this area is to be near them and, near my brother and the kids. But I just can't stand the scenes in public and this and that. And so, like, I had to leave. And when I left, I was called not normal and this. And I get it. I'm not normal. But, like, do you need to be reminded of it 4 or 5 times? And something else, too, that I'm whatever. And, of course, everything is, I'm getting the ongoing, like, I'm sorry for this. But it's like, you can't do that to your kid. Okay? I'm just saying to every parent on the planet, don't do that to your kid. Like the one thing I missed in my life, and it goes back to the first argument I ever had in high school with them, which was the one about going to see the Grateful Dead. And I get it. I thought about it yesterday, and I was like, how the fuck did they let me go to the goddamn California as a senior in high school? For the love of God. When I look like Kelly Leak. And I get that. But at the same time, I just wish we had a relationship where when they said, yeah, go to work, whatever, that they meant that. And that it wasn't like, taken back 4 months later. And so that was kind of the beginning of the end. And me quitting baseball that following spring didn't help. But when it was the same thing when I went in and did my internship with Ed Rendell when I was at Maryland. It lasted 1 day. I shouldn't have even lasted 1 day, because the second the fucking woman said, well, you can't miss one. If you miss one, you're out of, if you miss one internship, you're out of the program. And I was like, well, wait, how am I going to see Dead shows? It's, especially spring tour. I'm not going to the Dead just because of I have to be at Ed Rendell's thing underneath where Veep was filmed, whatever, that building wasn't filmed there, but the building where Veep is, the gray building that's the big gray building over there that's perpendicular to the White House. I was like in the catacombs underneath there collecting mail for Ed Rendell, but I think I was in the main mail room. No. I think he had his own I think they had their own mail chutes somehow. If they did, they got a shit ton of fucking mail. And then I think we were supposed to go through it and anything viable pass on up the line. But again, I didn't make it that far. Okay. Going back to the Derek Chauvin trial. The only case, I'm sure we alluded to it a bunch. Well, not a bunch, the last time and or today. Is that these were the protocols that you go through when you are a cop. And that's the only thing that's the only defense that you have is like, this is what I was taught. But that's kind of being a little shot out of the water, because then you have other cops going against this cop. The supervisor there was some weird tension there where the guy was like, I didn't even want to be in the same fucking room as him. That's harsh. I don't know if that was afterward or before, but I think it was about a story before when they were talking about like, well, what if, or what happened on this day, whatever. I don't remember, but like he was definitely asked something along the lines of being in the same room with them, and he's like, well, I wouldn't be in the same room with them. Yeah. And I think it was before this even happened. Afterward, I think, he fired him within 3 or 5 hours. But just why wouldn't you forget about setting aside the he's not, fuck all this. You know what? The first thing a cop should do, restrain the fucking thing, restrain the person, put their arms behind them, get the things on, and put them in the back seat of the car right away within 30 to 50 seconds. And I'm being fucking generous. Honestly, it should take about 14 seconds with a person okay with it, or, But that's what I don't understand. Why keep them on the ground with the neck? I mean, with the knee in the neck. I mean, all you're doing is, and like dude, if anyone like starts begging to their mom or whatever, and you still don't let up, something's wrong with you. Okay? There's no way you should be a cop. This guy, the last thing he should be is a cop. Okay? He's got no fucking judgment whatsoever. 1 minute, 2 minute. I don't even see it. Do you know how long a minute is? Dude, try fucking, whatchamacallit, working out in the White House, in the weight room, like I do every day. Okay? Keep your fucking 5 pounds on your ankles. Okay? Do that and keep it up for a minute. Keep your legs up for a minute in a boat pose. Okay? You tell me how long a fucking minute is. Okay? And you know what? Count the fucking last 12 to 15 seconds. Because you will. You will. It's the only thing that gets you to the end. Is knowing there's 10 seconds and there's gold at the end. Or it's done in 10 seconds. Because you could do anything in 10 seconds. What does a Navy SEAL say? When you feel done, you still have, I forget, either 40 or 60% left. Remember that, weak fucks. I mean, I agree. I'm a douche. I mean, I watched Ali Velshi go into Birmingham when they found the new jail, and I couldn't help but that woman showing it to him was just freaking me out. Ooh, I just can't help but to think that she was like, God, I wish I had a black person as a slave still. It's just, I know that I was just praying that she like saw some weird light. But I also think it's weird to like historicalize? What's the word? I'm sorry, I have no idea what the word is. Historicize? When you make something historic? Like, I don't think those things... Well, I'm a hypocrite in the sense that I'm not a hypocrite like Mitch McConnell, but like, I'm a hypocrite like in the sense that like, I feel like all of the statues taken down should be put in a museum and historicized, or whatever the fuck historicized. That sounds like you're gonna get rid of it. Historicalized. There's no way that's a word. I've never heard historized? No, that's not a word. Historicalized. No, I don't know. There's got to be an adverb to making something historic, unless you just have to say that. Pardon my being a total fucking moron. But anyway, I don't know what that word is. But for them to... I want to know the word. Make that a historic monument, if you will. I don't know. A jail? You got to. As opposed to putting fucking paperwork in there and using it as a file room in a broom closet. Yeah. Okay, I give you that. But it's nothing to fucking historicalize. Him being in jail, him going to jail on purpose. Remember that. He went there on purpose knowing that he had some type of lynching mob after him. Because I think you were still allowed to lynch. Oh, wait, you still are allowed to lynch people. You're still allowed to lynch people, everybody. Okay. I'm so fucking lost. I have no idea where we're at. But anyway, with regard to the Chauvin thing, all right, again, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. All right, so like you're at the 4 minute mark. You're like the other cops must have been like, forget the people. You see the guy that's like, I wish I never turned in the 20. But then it means your job or the 20, or you take a 20. And remember, people that are taking the blame upon themselves, and I guess it's the cause, and then another cause, and then another cause that could have created the effect. However, What about the guy that actually passed on the 20? Where was he during this whole mess? We only heard about the George Floyd part of the story. So did George Floyd get pissed and whatever, and that's why he got restrained? Maybe there was a little bit of that. But I still maintain, get him the fuck in the car and then go about your business. It makes no sense to just not throw him the fuck back in the car instead of staying on somebody. I mean, like, think about staying on somebody's neck for 5 minutes. Could you do that? Count the minutes. Like for 4 minutes. Okay, he did it for 8 or 9:14 or something. There just has to be a time where your logic kicks in and you're just like, all right, you know what? Enough is enough. Okay, there's no response here. He's not doing anything. The last word I heard was him begging for his mom. You know, where's your fucking heart, dude? I mean, come on. And to be honest, forget about him not being able to call. I think that's where I got sidetracked for the 8th time. He shouldn't be on the street anytime soon, this Chauvin guy. Because he's just going to hate something else in the future and potentially beat that up. I wouldn't trust him. So he needs to kind of like learn a lesson and, you know, and it be a little more than being kicked off the force. Okay, there was so much fucking time where you could have just said, all right, and I get it, is enough. Or, hey, you two, can you come over here and restrain him while I put the cuffs on him? And we'll throw him in the back seat. We'll check if he has warrants then, like we do with every other human being. Okay, and so again, all the people that said, I could have done more, you couldn't. Well, you weren't the one, you know, goes back to like, you know, the whole gun thing. You know, I could have done more to save someone's life. What? You weren't the one that like went out and killed something. Okay, you would have had to like, it would have been a butterfly effect. I mean, you'd have to have supernatural powers to be able to, you know, find something you had no idea of and stop a killing. So, I get it. It was heart-wrenching. The whole thing has been. The worst testimony is the cops on the cops. That one guy, I mean, at one point he was like, what was it? Speaking of, no, it wasn't. It was double negatives in so many ways. You want to cause less. You want to simmer I know there's legalese terms behind this, but you want to simmer a situation, and the defense was trying to rationalize by adhering more force, and the cop was like, no, like he didn't know how to answer that, and you kind of knew what the defense was going after, and so you didn't want. It was a hard way to answer, and he's kind of like, well, I meant like you pull your gun and you hold it at him. You know, that's what I meant. You know, there was a lot of that reiterated. But again, I don't know how you defend this unless you just comb through the fucking police fucking laws, you know, the terms that they sign, and go at and just use that. That's the only thing. The Texas Senate, by the way, advanced a sweeping bill, Georgia style, limiting how and when voters can cast ballots. It's the same thing that they're doing in Georgia and Iowa. And basically I think there's 350 some cases to turn back voting. This is how the GOP is campaigning. Their platform is let's get less people to vote, as opposed to having a platform. Then the passenger train derailed in a tunnel in Taiwan, killing at least 48 people. Wow, I didn't know that. We put that on the news at Sunset TV. I didn't know I didn't know 50 people were killed. That sucks, dick. Anyway. He said he was going to watch cartoons. He opened his dad's gun safe instead. It was just 5 days after his 11th birthday when Tyler Paxton pulled out his father's .357 Magnum revolver and became part of a disastrous American pattern when it went off in his face. I'm not even getting into that. Okay? Kellyanne Conway's Family Feud. She was Trump's fiercest defender. Her husband, George, who's got the weirdest hair, decried his every move. Can their marriage recover? We always marveled at, like, I mean, there's James Carville and Mary Magdalene, but, like, that's when Democrats and Republicans were real Democrats and Republicans, and they would banter, and it was a lot of fun. These guys, I don't even know what the fuck a dinner is like. And then you have Trump that must hate George Conway. Holy shit. And why is there a fucking news... Oh, oops, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Wait, what? In 1967, 14 ships were stranded in the Suez Canal. Where are my fucking glasses? After Egypt and Israel went to war, they were stuck there for 8 years. And these people are like, they have acoustic guitars. I don't know why I'm reading this. I got caught up. We set the record, by the way, for 4 million COVID vaccine dosages in one day, the CDC said. The milestone came as coronaviruses continue to rise in certain parts of the country, like Michigan. But anyway, I got my shot on Friday, and I have to admit, it knocked me the fuck out. However, I did rebound, and I worked till late Friday night because the games were on, and I was able to rein my way through it. No sugar, of course. Anyway, Stanford beat Arizona to win the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. One of those teams beat Maryland. And then also Gonzaga played last night. Matter of fact, the thing was on when we first started, the press conference. I had it on Sunset TV. But this is what I'm going to say about YouTube. First of all, Baylor, I hadn't seen before last night. Okay? So, setting that aside, Baylor played like a fucking sick team. I really didn't see any negatives. I don't think they did anything hardly negative yesterday. Overall, no. You know, scattered one here and there, lose. I don't remember much. Those guys played flawless ball from beginning to end. Now, I doubt they are that way 24/7. There's that one dude with the dreads. He's fucking sick, strong, sick left. But also, but I had only seen them last night for the first time, and they, came out blockbuster and didn't stop. Gonzaga, on the other hand, I've seen play a few times. I've seen the HBO show. I'm not knocking them in the sense that, like, I think they suck. But, dude, you put them in the Big Ten or ACC, they'd have 6 to 8 to 10 losses. This year, they'd have 4 to 6 to 8. They'd have 4 to 6 losses. Okay? I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. All right? There's no fucking way in hell that team could play with anybody in the Big Ten times 2. Okay? Put them up against Maryland twice in a given year. Put them up against Michigan twice in a given year. Put them up against Michigan State in a given year. Purdue twice in a given year. Rutgers twice. Penn State twice. Come on. Dude, they're 11 and 12. Those fucking tweakers. My God. Okay? I don't know. It was cute, I guess, the first time. I didn't know what to... Well, whatever. I didn't know what to make of Timmy before this. And I don't hate him. But... You know... Even the draw. I mean, look at the draw. Maryland could have played them, quite frankly. You know, I mean, UCLA was in Maryland's thing. We would have played UCLA, quite frankly, if we would have beat Alabama. Or who UCLA upset. UCLA upset someone. So, but come on. You put them in the ACC versus Duke twice a year. First of all, they match up well against a bad Duke team this year. Let alone Carolina would have beaten them once, twice this year. All right? Florida and/or Florida State times 2. I'm not saying Gonzaga wouldn't beat them once. Maybe sweep them every given year, every given once in a while. But dude, come on. This is like Brigham Young on steroids when they were undefeated and played my high school teams. That was ridiculous. Ridiculous. That was in football, of course. So, yeah, so the 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Shit. There is no way he didn't violate some form of police policy or what is it called when the police department you sign a contract, you go through the school, right? I'm not saying you go by the fucking guidelines, but you have to if it comes down to a lawsuit. Right? So, like, if you took that piece by piece, term by term contract, if you look at it like the contract that it is, and you go term by term by term by term, whatever, there's no way being on someone's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds is a thing. It is not, is not a red flag, is not something that they are against. There's no way that if it gets to the point where you put something on his neck, that they don't say, you let up after, I'm not saying maybe a certain period of time, but you let up when there's a lack of responsiveness. And that goes back to judgment. I mean, like, maybe he was like, he knew he fucked up really bad and he was just overcompensating. And that's why he stayed on longer. I mean, I just don't get it. The guy's a fucking freak, Derek Chauvin. I mean, we're going to see. And remember, too, when the defense does this thing, like everybody that's saying, like, I don't see where the defense has a chance, everybody being me. I don't see it. I just, remember that you're going to hear the other side of the story, and then party is going to, understand their part, I think. That's what's supposed to happen. I just can't see it happening. I don't know what the defense is. Everything they jab at, what's his face was high. Yeah, but if he didn't have his thing knocked in his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, breaking his trachea or whatever the fuck, he wouldn't have asphyxiated. He wouldn't have been asphyxiated and died. He could have been on fucking heroin times 8 and crystal meth and this and that and that. It doesn't give you the right to stay on somebody to kill them just because they were on crystal meth. And the only thing that's going to I was going to do a joke, and it's not funny. I was going to do a PCP joke, but I don't know what PCP was this thing in the 70s where, like, after school style, that, somebody would do it and then, like, beat up 6 men on the street or become the Incredible Hulk or something. The governor of Arkansas vetoed a bill to ban gender-affirming medical care for transgender youths. Where was Cousin Vinny? Was that in Arkansas? I forget where it was. Transgender youths. Anyway, they called it a vast government overreach. GOP lawmakers in at least 17 other states are pushing for similar legislation. transgender youths. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know much about that whole subject matter. I mean, I'm not much for having anyone make a decision at that young of an age in life. I think about some of the things I did in the 90s that mortify me. I can't even believe it. I can't believe how neglectful I was with regard to Samson, my first cat. I let him fucking do way too much. I would never do it again. You got to see me with Aussie in my back. I won't even let him back there unless I'm like sitting there. Or unless I know like there's no... Yeah, I mean, I'll walk in for a second or whatever. You know, but like, I'm on his ass big time. I don't know. I picture like a hawk. No, we had hawks too. But just to, you know, make sure Aussie didn't attack the youths. You know, their kids. The youths. Okay, so as far as transgender goes, you got to let anyone be however they want to be. However, when they get to make that decision, I don't know how you make that decision. Like, what do you do? Let your penis grow or cut it off? In like 4th grade? I say keep anything regarding surgeries until... I don't think you should be allowed to do that until you're, you know, legal age. I don't know. I don't think you should be able to, like, at 15 years old, chop your penis off. Should you? If you're not allowed to drink? Or all right, I guess you need parental. Yeah, you definitely need parental thing. If you have parental whatever and the parent goes, I don't know. I don't think I would do it. I would basically say on your 18th birthday you can do it. But just give it thought. Remember, it's definite. It's like a tattoo. Except you don't have a penis. Damn, we have not been on here for a long time. Let me make sure I got everything here. There was one more thing. In her first speech, the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen pushed for a global minimum corporate tax rate. Did we get it? Yeah, we get into that, but yeah, but on a domestic level, you know, I still maintain there's got to be a way to figure out who the fuck people over back then, as far as a general portion of that industry, and then tax those asses. Anyway. But she said, here's why international cooperation is key to funding President Biden. I don't know, whatever. It's Biden's infrastructure thing. Okay. And that was unveiled when? Friday, maybe? Thursday? You know, I mean, I don't understand why there has not been an infrastructure bill in the 2000s. It's astounding to me. I've said it out loud many times. I think it was Obama's downfall. I think if Obama would have gone infrastructure, then healthcare, it would have been a lot different. Because infrastructure, everyone can get behind. I mean, the Republicans are going to try and oppose it or whatever, but like... what are you going to do? Building roads and bridges? I want trains. And cleaner water, it says. We need cleaner water. And to combat climate change. Those are all things of whatever. What I want is a better train system. Okay? I want the fucking... I was about to say the trains they have in Asia, even though the one in Taiwan just killed 50 people. Well, I want the ones that there's not a chance in hell that it's capable of ever going off the things. That's the type of train I want. Okay? Where there's 0% chance of death or getting mangled. Okay? I was going to basically talk about the 4 people that were killed, but my problem with, you know, the kid last week, the mass murder, because it's +4. there was motive behind it. I can't get fucking, like, angry when there's cause and effect. I'm not saying it's right. I don't condone having deaths by guns and bullets at all. I think it's ridiculous. I think there should be a 0 percentile thing there, too. Okay, there's only one scientific constant between deaths, or not between, with deaths that have bullets and guns. Okay, all the other shit's hearsay, not hearsay. All the other shit is opinionated. The one scientific constant, the one thing that is involved with every goddamn death by a gun and a bullet is the gun and bullet. Doesn't matter who's behind it. Doesn't matter if it's a kook. Doesn't matter if a video game did it, a movie did it. Doesn't matter if you have those bum stocks. Doesn't matter. Okay? All those things are intangibles. Okay? They're like, whatever percentile. Okay? It could be a video game. If you put it into 100 percentile, it could be a video game. There's 98%, 99% of the world plays video games without wanting to go out and kill people. Okay, so that theory's gone. Mentally deranged, most of them can't even figure out a way to get guns. Let's give it a high percentage in the 60 range. That, like, deaths by guns and bullets are caused by mentally fucked up people. I mean, it goes back to my argument where if you want to kill anything, I think you're whacked. So there's different well, there it goes. That proves my point. There's variations of mental behavior. What makes something, it's whatever. Again, it's not 100%, not even close. I'll put it in the 60 to 70, but I'm being generous. There's only 30 to 40% of kooky fucking wackos going out and doing whatever they do to kill people. Okay, it's not close to 100%. What next? Films, that went out in the 70s. If Joe Blow is going out because Jodie Foster is telling him to do it, okay, that's a once in 4 lifetime things. It's really never happened since John Lennon's death. So 79, you're talking a tiny percentage that listens to what goes on TV and goes out and wants to kill people. Okay, tiny percentage. Millipercentage. Hasn't happened since Lennon and Jodie Foster. When Jodie Foster evidently told him to kill John Lennon, because that's what Jodie Foster wanted. That's what Jodie Foster was thinking and channeling at that time. Wasn't it that? What a fuck nut. If it wasn't the John Lennon death that Jodie Foster told whomever to do, you get my point. It was something else. Man, Jodie Foster has a lot of wielding power, man. By the way, she was in an after-school special that we just aired on our after-school special show. Yes, we show after-school specials and Saturday morning cartoons now. But instead of me showing the old ones, I started experimenting with some new ones. And I'm changing my whole scheduling soon. I'm spiraling on that whole thing. So it's kind of like a radio station too. If Kevin Pollak goes too long like he does with Matt Perry today, so be it. It goes into the next show, which I think is the news. I don't remember. No, is the Norm show or Reba. But I mean Reba McEntire. We play her sitcom. We play her sitcom every day, twice. Okay. The Pfizer and BioNTech said trials that the COVID vaccine is effective against the coronavirus variant that emerged in South Africa and I guess in the European Union, EU, and that protection from 2 doses lasts at least 6 months. And then speaking of Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine, like the one I took on Friday, I guess a bunch were ruined. I found out like the day before. I was like, oops. Well, but then Katie Tur verified that, whatchamacallit, It had nothing to do with the ones that we're in. Anyway, when the admin introduced the $2 million infrastructure package, the spending that will rebuild roads and tunnels and upgrade the electric grid is the president's second major initiative. So the first one was, he also wants to raise the corporate rate to 28%, and I agree. That's where it should have been. It went from fucking 33% to 21%. That's unreasonable. Okay? It needs to go, or 35 it may have been. It needs to go back to 28 and call it a day. Okay? And again, I know I'm back and forth fishing dead style, in and out of shit. But I do have a teleprompter, I don't know how to use it. But the infrastructure plan actually, of that $2,621 billion of it, is going to go to improve bridges, tunnels, roads, airports, and public transit, as well as fund the development of electric cars, trucks, and buses. Get it? Cars, trucks, and buses. Two fucking fish things. Cars, trucks, and buses. Of course, I made that up, but whatever. Do we even... Oh, yeah, there are such things as electric buses and trucks. Yeah, what am I saying? I see them. I mean, I've seen pictures or whatever, and it says electric bus. And then $400 billion of that is going to go to care for America's older adults with people with disabilities. And then $300 billion is going to drinking water and to increase broadband access and to upgrade the electrical grid. I think this is fucking splendid. Oh, I'm pretty sure $880 billion is going to be used to improve housing in schools for whatchamacallit, HUD. I'll be honest, man. And then you have to figure, Biden's doing a good job. I don't care what anyone says. Even before the game last night, he's just doing all the right things. Him and Jill came out and started saying something about something being back at the NCAA or whatever, and it was perfect. They're smart. Like, he just couldn't picture Trump and Melania doing it. It was just so calculated. And that was part of my weirdness with that dude, that meeting I had. I even said it, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm talking in hearsay, or not hearsay, in opinions. Because I'm like, I hear the things coming out of certain people's mouths, and I'm like, how do you even not see through that? He just looks so, it's garb, it's just words. None of it, and I think this particular person believes it. And I was just like, I got to get out of this maze of a conversation. So anyway, the rest of the funds, I guess, or other funds are going to go to green energy. And then, I guess, domestic types of manufacturing, research and development, certain job training. Which brings me to green energy, because the admin is expected to help revitalize the U.S. economy because of the COVID, and the plan is to kind of do it with taking a shift towards green energy. And that's why I'm saying, like, when you're talking about doing, selling oil leases in the Grand Tetons or some fucking federal land or state land, we're going in a whole different direction. Okay, we're going towards electric. We should make the ability for me to buy an electric car a lot easier. I'm still a hybrid person. I'm a pussy. Okay, I don't make enough money to fucking get an electric car. Trust me, I want one. I don't care. First of all, I don't even leave the fucking house. So I'll just let it charge all day. When I go on tour, well, that's when I want my auto drive car. I want an auto drive car to take on tour. And then this way, after a show, I can just like fall asleep and press a button and it take me either home or to the hotel or the house where I'm staying, the Airbnb. What am I saying, hotel? I haven't stayed in a hotel in like a decade. I expect there to be some support by Republicans, but they're going to be doing the same old like, well, the last thing we should do is let corporations make decisions for us Republicans. Yeah. Last thing we would do is corporations. What was it? What was it? A bunch of corporate CEOs getting in the middle of politics need to stay out of politics, even though I depend on corporations and corporate leaders and execs to fund my political career and to set the tone for every platform I make as a Republican. But not in that case. Every other case, I want this corporate execs to stay out of politics, except when it comes to me. So expect some heated conversations before lawmakers kind of agree to anything. But they got, they'll whatever. They'll, that announcement is actually a 2-part plan. I'm finding out right now, quite frankly. I actually didn't know that. Hopes to move through Congress. In April, Biden is expected to introduce a second plan focused on childcare, healthcare, and education. All right, beautiful, lovely. Okay. Oh yeah! Last Thursday night, man. When what's-his-face signed that law, maybe, I forget when it was. Maybe it was a couple weeks ago that woman got arrested for outside of Kemp's office for trying to get in. She's a fucking congressperson, for God's sakes. That's ballsy. Of course, is Brian Kemp. I hate the way they the Republicans always do that, stand around the man that's signing whatever underneath a plantation, a painting of a plantation. Hello? Anyway. I don't know. I'm calling it a day, I guess. Oh, one more thing after that. Speaking of that, I got my first inkling about Antifa, someone in it. It says one's Antifa, one's in a militia. I can't see. I'm sorry. An ancestry match led to an unlikely bond. This was on NPR News. The story of two distant cousins explores complex issues in today's America. I guess one's Antifa, one's in military. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone in real life call whomever something about Antifa. That's the most I've ever seen anything about Antifa in print besides, what people say, which is bullshit. By the way, for some reason, there's a rise in the pandemic because of the pandemic or during the pandemic of puppy thefts. What the fuck, assholes? They're capitalizing on the increased demand for dogs, and of course, leaving fucking owners like Lady Gaga. But that's a good. If they sell them to another human that's not going to abuse them, that's a victory of sort. I always picture them being fucking made into bait dogs. Fucking hate everybody. I watched Snatch last night. Oh, there's a whole bunch of more notes. What are we doing? Oh yeah, Trump crashed a wedding at Mar-a-Lago and took over the mic. Did you hear about that? Started preaching I don't know what he said, but I think he started saying how everything was rigged still. And let me see. Chauvin pick of hand. Oh, yeah. That theory that the Chauvin people the defense was making about how, the cops were nervous about the people around him, the protesters saying, like, get off his neck or whatever in that 9-minute span of time. There was a picture of Chauvin with his hands in his pocket. How the fuck threatened could he have been? I forgot to address that. Speaking of address, Deborah Burke spent 2 years lying for Trump. And all of a sudden she's coming out and saying, like, this is that, and this, and, like, Scott Atlas, something about that. I don't even know. Whatever. And then I wrote something about Larry Brilliant on Ari Melber, whatever that means. Sometimes, I guess some dead I just love when Ari Melber tries to do dead references. He did a Stephen Stills reference last night, and I don't even know what the fuck it was. I still can't even figure out what he was. I don't even remember the line, but he said, to quote a Stephen Stills, and then he started talking. I didn't hear a line in a song. And then, that guy, Peter Navarro, I guess he went off a couple weeks ago, and that guy's fucking nuts. Reckless. They're all fucking nuts. Those fucking Trump people. They're just weird. I don't know. All right, I'm going to go. I'm sure we're way late. Oh, McConnell, a bunch of corporate CEOs. I got to learn how to do imitations. All right, folks, it's good to be back. Stay in touch. Hopefully we'll be rolling since I've delegated. See you later.